Echoing his sentiments from yesterday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis expressed his disappointment over the decision to not give Nikolas Cruz the death penalty. DeSantis said the decision, quote, stings, and said the death sentence would have been, quote, appropriate punishment. A Florida jury on Thursday recommended Nikolas Cruz, the gunman who killed 17 students and teachers in the 2018 massacre at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. This came after a 3-month trial to determine whether Cruz faced a life sentence or the death penalty.
And finally, I just want to say there's still a lot of disappointment from yesterday's verdict in the Parkland school shooting case to deny the imposition of the death penalty for somebody that massacred so many people in cold blood and cut short so many young and vibrant and lives full of potential. It stings, and it stings a lot of people, not only in that community down in Parkland, in Broward County, but really throughout the state, and I think even throughout our country. I know that the prosecutors are pursuing some things with the jury, and I think that they should do that. I think this is something that, did you have jurors that were just never going to do this no matter what? That's not the way this system is supposed to work. What was going on? There may have been something that went on. So I think whatever legal process they have and legal tools they have available, I think they should use it, because I do think it was a miscarriage of justice. I mean, you're going to be in a situation, the state of Florida has executed people in our history who've committed really dastardly crimes, but crimes that didn't reach this level of carnage, and yet somehow he's going to be living off taxpayer expense for what, 50 years, 60 years? His victims didn't get that luxury to be able to live out those decades. And so I just think at some point you have appropriate punishment. And if you have something like capital punishment available in a case like that, it has got to be administered. That just shows kind of how the community views the severity of the offense. And I think it was 100% appropriate punishment. So disappointed, stung, but also thankful that looks like the prosecutors may be pursuing. And look, I don't know how those avenues ultimately work out, but I think that there's a lot of folks who were hoping for a different result. So it's a sad thing. And it's also a sad thing that this takes so long. You know, you should have, I mean, there's a saying, justice delayed is justice denied. And when you have 4.5 years that go into this, for what? Everybody knew that he did it, and I'm not saying he doesn't get a lawyer process, but okay, what are you going to contest in this? Try to say you're crazy, this, okay, do that, but that should be done in months, not years. And yet here we are, it's taken all this time. This happened before I was even governor, and now here we are more than 4 years later. And so that's not the way I think the justice system should be operating. I mean, I think that we need to do some reforms to be better serving victims of crimes and the families of victims of crimes, and not always bend over backwards to try to do everything we need to for the perpetrators of crimes.